So we're going to start, and I want to officially welcome all of you to webinar number 3 in our You Can Do It online series presented by Speakout Inc. based in Miami. Now, if you have any questions of what's coming ahead, one second, please. My slides are, oops, there we go. If you have any questions about what's coming on, please either email us or call us. Now, here's what's coming up next week in the series. On next Thursday, same time, same place, I'm going to share with you how to avoid the 5 biggest mistakes that speakers and leaders make online and in live presentations, with a special emphasis on how to close that presentation, that report, to get what you want. And the last webinar in the series is going to be called Online Persuasion, how to deal with the 4 personality types that you find in your meeting or during your presentation. And these apply both face-to-face and on Zoom, as we are doing now. So today's session is called Proven Makeup Tips for Improving Your Appearance in Online Meetings and Presentations. And someone asked me, Anne, why are you doing this? And so I thought about it and I said, well, here's why. Our Speak Out motto is we help you build your revenues, reputation, and relationships word by word. And as you may recall, those of you who were here with us last week, there's certain words that are distractors, right? Like ers and ums and saying hope and must. But there also are other distractors that can get in the way of your effectiveness. And that is our appearance. And we don't want our appearance to get in the way of being effective. So what does that mean in terms of you? Well, what that means is that before it's your turn to present, you need to make sure that everything in your environment is ready, including you. So I'm giving you now a few pre-meeting reminders from some of what we have worked on before and some that I thought might be useful for you today in light of what we're going to be discussing. So first of all, you want to check your surroundings. You want to get rid of any distractions. And remember, your face, your hair, your makeup, your cats, your dogs, all of those could be distractions. It's important to elevate your laptop or device so that your head is near the top of the screen. You want to situate a portable light or lights near you so there's no shadow on your face. I've tried to do that. If you have an air conditioner or fan or some other noise, including your phone, make sure that you put it on silent. And if you have children or anybody else that could be running in and out of your space, make sure to gently move them outside. And one of the things I learned, I'm not doing these in order, from and our guest today will be sharing some of this, is I've learned to put a white poster under my computer to add dimension. Okay. The one recommendation I'm going to make for this, in addition to your writing any questions you may have in chat, and we will be unmiking everyone a little bit later, is to use the speaker view for this webinar as opposed to the gallery view. And the reason for that is I will be sharing with our guest, Terry Jacobs, she's going to be sharing and I'm going to be sharing, and you'll see her at a proper size. If you do the gallery view, everybody stays the same size. Okay. So, and if you are unmuted, I ask you please to mute yourself so that we don't have any distractions. Okay. My name, by the way, is Ann Friedman. I am the founder and CEO of Speak Out, for those of you who are joining us for the first time. I'm a former journalist, author of Public Speaking for the Genius, a whole collection of ebooks, and I work with knowledgeable people, experts, to help make sure that they are never boring and that they always appear confident and in control when it's their turn to be on stage like this. So now I'm going to introduce you briefly to our guest speaker today, who is Terry Jacobs. She's known as the tropical makeup expert and is the founder of Les Tropiques, which is a line of makeup and skincare products specifically designed to work in the heat and humidity of South Florida. She has worked with numerous television personalities and movie stars, and she has been a member of Local 798 of the Hair and Makeup Artists Union. She's been nationally and internationally recognized as the best makeup artist in South Florida and has other national designations. She's a great person. She lives at Coconut Grove, has a collection of animals, and really good friends. So it is my pleasure at this point, to introduce you to Terry Jacobs. So Terry.
Hello, how are you?
Now Terry is purposely not made up today, okay? She's gonna show you on half of her face what the difference is and the power of makeup. And she's going to give you a regimen that she recommends you follow. And this is going to apply for men as well as for women. So Terry, would you start with giving us some tips for men first, please?
I think men should be first of all clean shaven. Clean shaven, the hair should be nicely combed and neat. If you have facial hair, groom it, brush your eyebrows. And I'm going to demonstrate the first few steps of the makeup that I do is for everyone, men and women. And the main thing is covering the famous under eye business and any kind of imperfection that you may see. And when you turn on the TV and you watch the news, you notice the men do not have any signs of dark circles or beard, and that's key. So is there anything more you want to ask me about men, Ann, or do you want me to get started?
No. So let's start with, you had talked about preparing the skin, and this applies for both men and women. And now today, everyone, our focus today is primarily for when you're on camera. Some of what Terry's going to share with you obviously will apply for live situations as well. But again, our focus today is when you are asked to be in a meeting like this or you're presenting. So Terry, take it away.
Okay, first of all, to familiarize you with my favorite tools, which is my lighted magnifying mirror. I don't think I could do a good makeup without it. The second thing is to have good brushes. Your tools are really important. So in the interest of saving time and keeping your attention, I always start doing makeup with a clean face. Wash your hands first, clean your face, and then you're going to apply your moisturizer with a sponge, the same sponge that you're going to use to apply your makeup. So how I do it, I put a few drops on, and then I just go over the eyes. So your face is warm. Okay?
Terry, what is the purpose of the moisturizer?
It provides a base so that the makeup will go on nice and smooth and evenly, and it won't look cakey. It'll look fresh.
Perfect, thank you.
So the next step is to I use always my line, which is a powder cream makeup. It won't make you look shiny, which is very distracting when you're on camera. And how you load the sponge, this edge right here becomes very important. So you dip that in first, wiggle it back and forth. This is how your sponge should be covered. I'm going to start all the way to the outside and up and down and up and down. The most important area, oh, and by the way, after practicing for this session, I realized that I had to go much darker with my foundation in order for me to look good. So that's a suggestion for everyone. Whatever makeup that you're going to be using, make sure you get a darker tone.
And again, Terry's talking about for on camera, not necessarily live when you're in front of an audience. There is a difference.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now I'm going to get under the eyes. It's always an issue if you're over 22. I'm not, but you know.
Terry, some people say you should put white under the eyes to lighten it, but I understand you have a different approach. Would you share with us, please?
Yeah, I think white makes you look, it doesn't do what you're thinking. It doesn't bring the eye out. It's confusing, and sometimes in the end, it makes you look puffy. So it's better to just make your skin from top to bottom look exactly the same. So once you have now applied your base, and I always go back over my under eye area. See the difference?
Yeah.
Then with this brush, I take some powder on the tips, I fluff it up, and then I lightly dust it all over the face. I'll go back with this brush just to go around the eye area. See the difference?
You can see how much brighter and how much smoother it is on the side with the makeup than without it.
Also, one thing I noticed when I was doing my makeup on camera, I have very light skin and I've had a lot of sun damage. So I noticed my hand picked it all up like my face. So this hand is made up.
And look at the difference, how much you've covered, yes.
You know, so if you're going to be doing something when you're demonstrating, put that makeup on your hands as well with powder on it to set it. The key thing about the powder is it sets your makeup and it helps to keep it there all day. Once you've done this part, the next thing is to add color in. And again, I'm going with a lot more color than I would normally use for street because you want to look healthy. And when I'm applying it, it's like this. 1, 2, 3. Then I raise my eyebrows and I try to smooth it down the nose, back in.
What a difference.
See the difference already?
Mm-hmm.
The next step is my secret weapon, my tropical waters. And what I do, spray the face till it's completely wet. Then take a tissue, lay it over your face, and blot the excess. Now you should look like it's you, not like you've got makeup on. And I think little by little, you can see I'm starting to come alive, right? You know, it's funny, like everybody else, I haven't had makeup on in a couple of months. And when I started practicing for this the other day, I looked in the mirror and I said, wow, I really need the makeup. What a difference it makes. So once you've achieved that, the next step is to go into the eyes. And we're not doing a dramatic makeup. We're doing a nice, clean, fresh makeup. And I always take the lightest color first. I load it on the brush like this, both sides, back and forth. None of this. It's just wiggling the brush into the powder. I raise my eyebrow. I tilt back, and I can't see. And I start under the eyebrow, and I, like a windshield wiper, I'm going back and forth. See the difference?
Yeah, it really covers stuff too, doesn't it?
It does. The next step, we weren't going to get into this, but we decided it's really better. We're going to do, we're going to do liner. We're going to do a pencil liner.
Terry, is there a recommendation for a color, or does that depend on the person's own natural coloring, or is there a universal color that's best to use for camera?
For what? For the eye?
In terms of the liner,
Well,
on camera, is it best to use a certain color, or does it depend on someone's own color characteristics?
I usually go for black. I usually go for black because the iris is black, and it just seems to help.
So it doesn't matter what color your eyes are, or okay. So black is the recommended liner color.
Smoky blue. Then I'm going to lift up my eyelid, and I'm going to start to draw under. Because I don't want to really look like I have an eyeliner on. And the key is to get it right into the eyelash. A space. Sorry, I have to be in the magnifying mirror for this or I won't be able to see what I'm doing. It's not a lot, but you see a difference between the two sides with the liner. Yes, Ann?
Yep, definitely can. I'm just responding to some people in the chat because apparently some people are having difficulty with the internet today.
I had the same. So
Yeah, it happens to everybody, but let's see, the liner looks great.
I'm just going to get a little bit more on because.
And I can tell you folks, I have learned to use, I bought the mirror from Terry and she taught me, and it makes a big difference putting the eyeliner on. I didn't realize what I wasn't seeing before I had a magnified mirror. Some of you may have better eyes than I do, but it does make a difference.
Sorry, the next step is I'm going to take this blue, which is a good universal color for almost everybody. And I'm going to, with this angle brush, you can see that, I'm going to just go over what I just did with the blue, with the pencil. And that sets it. I'm also going to add it, and this is going to make the biggest difference. This color is going to go on my, I have deep set eyes. I don't have that beautiful eye area, so I have to create that for myself. So you look for your bone, and you just follow the bone. And I've noticed that everything that you do for camera, for Zoom, has to be more than really what you would want it to look like. Okay.
Beautiful. Looking great.
Last step on the eyes is, of course, mascara. I use black. Sometimes I'll use a royal blue. It just kind of brings things up. And don't do this. Do it slowly. Get a good application. Make your eyelashes look like a fan. The ones in the middle go straight out, the ones to the side and inside. And normally I will do 2 coats, but for this, I'm just gonna do 1. And of course, the last thing on the eyebrow, and last thing is the eyebrows for the eyes. And as you know, when you're wearing your mask, they become very important. So I will go like short little hair-like strokes. And then brush.
Beautiful. What a difference. Really see it.
Then we go to the lip. I always like to put a little powder. It helps to hold on the lipstick. And then, you know, Anne was asking me, what is the best color? Well, it just depends on you. For me today, I'm going to go with a rosy color because I think it'll make me look nicer, fresh. So start in the middle of your lower lip. And you draw your line, and then you just continue it. When you're going to do your top lip, make a V. Then connect the dots. Next, we're going to add the lipstick. Pink. This is how you load the brush. Then, smiling.
It's great.
Okay, so here we go. This is Zoom ready. This is not.
Terry,
The last step you can do if you want at the very end is to add in a little highlight color on the top of the cheekbone, and I would have gone with the pink.
gorgeous.
Already so much better.
And in addition to looking better, as you mentioned, it's really important that you feel psychologically ready to be on camera, because for most of us, it's not a natural experience talking to a little lighted ball like this at the top of our screen. And Terry, thank you. That was fabulous. What a big difference it makes. I want to have one last question with respect to lipstick. Is there a color range that you don't recommend for camera? In other words, you know, they're reds, they're blues, they're bright pinks. Are there certain colors that you think might be distracting on camera?
Like red lips and brown lips. I don't think it works, but it's something that, you know, we have to play with because this is a whole new medium to work with. I mean, when I'm doing someone for the news, let's say for CNN or NBC or whatever, I would never use a red lipstick unless it's a very flamboyant guest, and then she will. But most of the time I try to find something sweet and like a medium tone. You don't want it just to be all lips. You want them to see the whole look.
It's interesting because when we're talking about clothing and attire for camera, one of the things I've always worked with my clients is said, don't wear red because red will wear you online. And so there's a question about what about glasses and makeup from Nancy Sharpening. So just to distract for a moment, I'm wearing mine now because I'm having trouble and I can't wear my contacts and I wanted to be able to see. So some people look great with glasses online. Is there a special advice you can share with us when it comes to makeup and glasses, Terry?
Well, honestly, I feel like if you can do the Zoom without the glasses, it's just so much better. You want people, you may not be able to see them that well, but you want them to see you really well. You know, and you can go flip back and forth between putting the glasses on and taking them off.
I respectfully disagree about putting them on and taking them off because that's distracting. Okay. So you need to keep, either you wear them the whole time,
right,
or you don't. And for the last 2 webinars, I didn't wear them. Today, I'm experimenting wearing them. So it was a good question. I guess part of the question is, do you do your makeup any differently if you're wearing glasses?
You would probably have to put more eye makeup on. It would have to be stronger for sure.
And the one suggestion I can make to people, I don't have them yet, but there are glasses. If you're going to need to wear your glasses on camera, there's a glass now, they're making glasses that are non-reflective.
That's very normal. Just
So
with
that
the,
would,
with the
yeah.
glasses on, it's all reflective.
Right. Now, Terry, another question is, what about the best, Terry?
Yes, sorry.
It's all right. How long before you're on camera is it a good idea to put your makeup on?
I would say at minimum a half an hour. It should be done a half an hour before you go on. Once you do your makeup, it takes about a half an hour for it to set. So I would say maybe start it an hour before. And then you, just before you're going to go on Zoom, check yourself, have your mirror, right, have your little touch-up items. I'm going to just, can I turn this around and show them how I have it set up?
Yeah, please.
So there's all my little touch-up items, right? Sorry, it's a little bit messy. And then here's, you know, all my mirrors.
So you want to keep them in hand's reach if you need to do something in between.
Correct. Especially if you're really shiny, you could just kind of maybe blot your face. And if you don't have to add the powder, don't. But if you can get rid of that glare, which is very annoying, with the tissue, fine. If not, go ahead and use a little light dusting powder.
So there are two questions. One is about what do you do about dark spots? And the second question is, what about contouring?
So I think you saw me cover all my dark spots just by applying the base.
So you're saying the base itself, if you choose the correct base, should cover up most of your dark spots?
And then you can go back with your finger. You know, what I do is, like, if I have a particularly bad area, I'll go with my finger. And like, for instance, under the eyes, I'll go back in here like this to make sure I'm nice and smooth under the eyes.
Now, Lilia was asking about under eye makeup, and we had talked about that earlier, not recommending, they sell this white stuff that you put under, and you had shared with us that's distracting. So your point is to use your foundation and maybe put powder over that to help lighten up the darkness, right? Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I watch these makeup videos, and it's really appalling to see what people are doing and what they're teaching you, and it's not real. It doesn't suit a professional person. Professional people have to look like themselves, the best version of themselves.
And that's what we've been trying to do today, as well as the other techniques we are. So if we're going to open up the mic in a few minutes, but if someone wants to consult with you, Terry, what do you have available for them?
Well, I like to do one-on-one makeup lessons. We can do it either via Zoom or we can do it on FaceTime. At this moment, I'm not seeing people face-to-face in my studio, but I think this is a great option to be able to do it like this, an interactive one-on-one makeup lesson. If you're interested in doing that, you can email me. I think you have my email addresses there.
Yeah, we're going to be posting it, and when we send the follow-up email with the video and so forth, we'll be sending you Terry's information as well, but it's going to be posted a little bit later in the webinar. Okay, great, great, wonderful. All right, I'm going to take the screen back. Share screen, go back. 1 second, share. And can everyone see this okay? Are you seeing the screen? Okay, I'm going to put it on this way. Oops. All right, so I'm going to do a little recap for us of what Terry talked about in terms of, first of all, for men, and that is she recommended close shave, even though millennials and certain people are not shaving very closely. And I even saw Trevor Noah, who I love. He's this fabulous South African comedian, and he's broadcasting from home, and he hasn't shaved, and his hair is all different. People look different without their routine. He's still good looking, so he got away with it. But whether you're a man or a woman, she's recommending that you use foundation to smooth under, especially under the eyes, powder to appear from being shiny, making sure your eyebrows are not scraggly, and to comb your hair. And here's a recap. And Terry, feel free to pop in if I'm missing anything. Okay, and here's Terry's information at the top. So again, the idea of using some kind of foundation that is not liquid, something that's a combination of powder and liquid to cover your skin and under the eyes. It's important to use powder with a big brush, and especially under your eyes as well. Add blush or bronzer with a brush, and we've both learned that it has to be a bit heavier than usual. Don't be afraid that you look made up, because the light and the camera and all this other stuff is going to absorb color from you, and you want to stand out, yes? Spray water, the special tropical water that Terry has, on your face, and then dry it off with tissues. When you get to your eyes, use a light color on the lid, below the eyebrows, all the way down, covering the entire eye. Do a darker contour in the bone. Apply the eyeliner the way Terry showed you. And that last little magical touch she does after you have the liner to put on a blue powder over it really helps set that liner so it doesn't smear accidentally if you touch your eyes. Don't
You never want any of the makeup to be below this line. That psychologically brings the eyes down. So if you see that you've done it, you just put your sponge here on the edge and you go like that with the makeup on it. You don't have to add more, just use what you have, and that will smooth it all out and make it the way you want it.
Perfect, thank you, Terry. And then finally, you want to make sure you're using a lipstick brush at first and then apply the color. And Terry says almost any color that makes you feel good is good, except perhaps a bright red or a brown, because that's going to be distracting for you.
Lip gloss, no lip gloss, that's too much, just lips.
That was a question, thank you for answering that about the lip gloss. So I'm going to do a few more things, and then we're going to open up for questions. As the Speak Out originator of the series and the founder of Speak Out, I am offering each of you on the call a 30-minute free strategy session with me. And here's the link where you can set up the time, and we will be sending this out afterwards as well. I'm also inviting you to consider participating in one of our virtual Speak Out coaching groups. We have a maximum of 6 participants, no competitors, and you actually develop a presentation during the process, so call me or text. And we're offering a 20% discount on our collection of ebooks and videos, which are available on our website. And there's a discount code here for PAC 2020. These are some of the things you can find on our website, including my book, Public Speaking for the Genius, and the collection of ebooks. So now I'm going to open up invite you to unmute yourself. I don't think I can unmute. I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a moment and invite people to unmute themselves and ask us a question. Hi there. A question? Pardon? Could you say that again, please? We lost you.
Okay, Sandy is not unmiked and Yvonne is not unmiked. Unmic yourself, girls.
Hi.
Hi, okay.
Hi there.
This woman is the best makeup artist in Florida and probably nationally. She helped me. Hi, this is Sandy Greenblatt, and I have no makeup on and I'm a mess. But years ago, I always thought I did beautiful makeup on myself. I always felt good about it. But probably 15 years ago, I felt stuck in the 80s and 90s. I just felt like my makeup was dated. And I was introduced to Terry, and she did pretty much what she did today on the screen. And it's just wonderful, and her products are wonderful. But the best thing you taught me, Terry, and I see, Anne, you're doing it too, that you don't put eyeliner on top of your eyes. You actually, and it's a little scary in the beginning, but you take a good pencil, a sharp pen, you know, the pointy pencil, and you put the eyeliner, you put it like inside the lid. You know, be careful. I mean, it comes naturally after you do it a couple times. But just putting that on with nothing else makes an incredible difference in how you look. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Sandy. And Sandy, your question is one that Ellen McCarthy asks, and she says,
I know, I'm sure you do.
she says her eye.
Like I said, it's like,
I think,
you know, it's like for some reason,
Yolanda, I think
it's like you do.
you need to mute yourself because we can hear your husband. Okay. All right. Thank you. Ellen McCarthy is asking, my eyes are Irish. They always look like I'm squinting and on eye makeup. Any recommendations? And then there's another question from Lilia, why not liquid makeup? I'm not a fan of dry makeup. So Terry, would you answer those, please?
Well, Ellen, it's your issue. You have this, you and I, we're twins. We have the same eye issues. Not everybody is born with that beautiful eye bone. So the key is to push that bone back, as you saw me do with like a toasty color. Push that back, and that helps to bring the eye forward. It's a pretty simple technique. If you're ever interested, I'd be happy to show you how to do it. It makes a huge difference. I mean, it's so funny. As I'm doing my makeup, yeah, you have the same look.
Maybe your sister, they say your sister's by a different father or something like that.
You have to bring your makeup up high enough so that it pushes the bone back, and maybe almost to the eyebrow for you, and you'll see a difference. Do it opposite of what everybody else is telling you to do.
Yeah, right. That's what it feels like. Thank you so much, Terry.
You're welcome.
Nice to see you, Ellen. Thank you.
Great to see you.
Okay, another question. What about the difference between liquid makeup and what you're recommending, which is kind of a blend of a powder and a liquid?
Well, it's a powder cream. It's a cream. It's a cream.
It's a cream as opposed to a liquid, right?
Liquid tend to go on looking shiny and greasy. And my I don't want to say my opinion, but my, what's the word I'm looking for? My experience has been that the liquid just doesn't, when girls use that liquid, they say, but my makeup disappears by 12 o'clock, I have no more makeup on. And that's part of the reason. The liquid makeup is really not a good way to go, especially for screen.
For screen.
I haven't used a liquid makeup since I worked for Revlon in the 70s. But that was in New York, so that's a different story. When you're coming down to South Florida, you got a whole new, and that is why I created my products, because anything that I was using in the Northeast did not work here.
Wow.
Cosmetics for the tropics. The more you sweat, the better you look.
And I will say, the cream that she uses in that compact is not dry at all.
No,
it goes on so smoothly. It really does, and it does cover and it does stay.
And I just want to share.
She's not paying me for the promotion.
I want to share that it took me a little while to learn to use the foam rubber piece to put it on and off. When Terry does it, she just looks like she's painting, you know, and I'm a little klutzy sometimes. So it took me a little while to learn how to do that, but anybody can learn. And it does make a big, big difference. So I'm going to go back to sharing screen. I don't see it. Let me see if there's on chat, if there are any other questions that I haven't.
I haven't heard from Tina Salveson. Tina, do you have something to add? Unmic yourself.
Who?
Tina Salveson. She's been using, she and her mother. Her mother started with me at Grove Isle. And
oh my God.
She would buy that base from me, that powder cream makeup. She didn't want to ever run out. She would buy a dozen at a time. Tina, tell us your experience, if you don't mind.
Not at all, not at all. I first met Terry when she worked at Grovile. My mother was a big fan. She lived there at the time. And we started, I went over to her little shop, which was beautiful. And she made me up for, there was some kind of party I came down for to see my mom. And it was a revelation. So from there, and I was younger then, you know, and now I wouldn't be without her makeup. I need to buy some. This is a reminder right now that I need to buy some.
Right.
And
It's,
friends over the years for, gosh, Terry, how many years now? 20.
Because I'm only 22, so don't tell me we've been friends for 40 years.
none of us are talking age here, ladies and gentlemen, okay? It's not, it's just a number.
Hey, it was my 67th birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday, Yvonne. Happy birthday. All the best. That's exciting. That's exciting. We have one other comment here that I'm going to read in the chat room from Cheryl Borland. And she's a lawyer in the Midwest. And she says, adding the eyeliner on the waterline as demonstrated does not affect contact wearers either. And she said, I draw a line above my lashes and underneath them, and she doesn't have any problem with her lenses with eyeliner. And that was a concern I had at first with my lenses as well. So it is an ongoing self-discovery process. So I'm going to go back to sharing this.
Ann,
Yes, question?
Ann,
Yes.
Ann, it's Cornelia Phillipson. Can I ask a question?
Please ask.
Okay. I know on Zoom there is some kind of adjustment one can make to the way you look on the screen. I'm just curious.
Oh,
Did you, Ann, or did you, Terry, use some sort of
I did
adjustment?
know
No.
about that. Thank you for telling me.
What?
No, we are both using Terry's makeup.
All right, let me just also make a comment. First of all, Ann, you look fabulous.
Right.
But you always
Right.
look fabulous. You
Thank
look great
you.
in glasses. You look great in glasses.
Thank you so
And
much.
Terry, I'm curious. I stepped away for a second.
Yes.
Did you put makeup on the other side of your face?
no.
No, I'm perfect.
Well, I got to tell you something. It's really, yeah, okay. I didn't. When you look at the screen, you don't see that side until you turn.
Right.
But really, and I thought I was doing makeup really well all these years. I took makeup when I took drama with Sam Hirsch, who was a force here in South Florida in the theater.
Right.
And I got to tell you something. I really learned so much today. I don't know if I can replicate it. I think I'll have to come and see you, Terry.
Absolutely.
Because the way you put on your
The blush.
not your base, but the
blush.
the blush. I'd never ever seen anything like that before. And you really do look amazing. That
Oh.
side of your face looks amazing. That's why I asked you. I've seen you in person,
Okay.
and you just it looks very natural, but it looks very youthful.
Right.
Thank you.
And-
So
So I
and-
know a lot of people, normally they're going to put their blush on like this.
that's how I
Right.
do it.
Right.
That's how I do it.
Cringe when I see that. That gives
Right.
you 2 flashes. It's not that you want that. You want, like the lighting should be like surround sound. It should be surround lighting all the way around.
Right.
Same thing with you when you add your cheek color. You don't want a line. You want it to highlight your cheekbone and going like that.
Fabulous.
Just all out.
It's great. I'd
Now,
never.
Tell you, and
And
girls,
ladies, it does, I'm interrupting for a second, it takes practice, just like it does to be comfortable on camera as a speaker and your words.
Right.
The makeup takes practice. The first time I did it, it took me almost an hour. And then like everyone else, I hadn't done it for a couple of months. And then I went back and I said, what do I do with this thing? Even though I have all the instructions written out, because Terry writes out the instructions, I said, oh my God, look how many steps there are. It goes faster and faster. Just like when you rehearse for this kind of presentation,
Right.
in the beginning, you rehearse a lot more.
Right.
And then you're always going to rehearse. it always takes time to put your makeup on, just like you're getting ready for anything else. But when you do that, ladies and gentlemen, wow, what a difference it makes, and how
Looks great.
we feel
Looks-
and how we come across. Yes. So in the interest of time, I am going to share screen and wrap up because I don't see any other. Let me just make sure I'm not seeing any other questions. No, I'm going to share the screen back.
Of that issue with the cheeks.
Okay, so
What?
share the screen back. Okay.
It's so easy.
And
But
and if you, I'm just going to wrap up and remind you that if you have any questions, can everybody see the screen?
yes.
Yes. Here's my phone number. Please, if you like today, help Terry and me with the social media by tweeting about it, by liking us on Facebook or LinkedIn. And I want to close by reminding you that next week, same time, same place, we have a webinar on how to avoid the 5 biggest mistakes that people make online, with a special emphasis on the closing. And the following week is dealing with different personality types that may be in your audience or on your team. So I want to thank you once again for being with us today. Thank you to Terry Jacobs. Let's give her a big round of applause, please. Okay. And it was wonderful. And we will see you again next Thursday. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much again. Bye, everyone.